I've got this PSP 2000 that could use a new shell swap, so that's what I'm going to do in today's new video. I'm going to show you my process into shell swapping a PSP 2000 model, so if you please can confirm what model PSP you have. It can be located on the sticker on the bottom of the PSP or the sticker behind the battery. If your PSP says 3000, please watch my other video on this PSP on the upper right hand corner. Now that we determine what model we have, the first thing I'd like to check is to make sure all the buttons work on this PSP. The best way I do this is going to the World Wide Web on the PSP.
And welcome to the wide world of web.
If you go to the keyboard, it lets you see what buttons aren't working and it helps you pick up extra parts you're gonna need to fix your old PSP. If you back out of the keyboard area, it sends you to a white screen with the cursor, and this lets you check the joystick to see if there's any drift issues. But it seems like this PSP, everything is fine. So now we can start disassembling this PSP. Okay, the stuff you're gonna need to disassemble the PSP is a screwdriver set, preferably with long head bits.
That's what she said.
Angle tweezers, and some sort of pry tool you have lying around. Of course you're gonna need a new shell, but you can pick whatever color you want. I decided to go with a transparent blue shell that I got on AliExpress. And whatever new part you might need to fix your PSP. Now we can take this apart, but first let's rip off the warranty stickers, because we're bad boys. Ripping off the warranty sticker exposes one of the 4 screws we need to remove from the back of the PSP. Once you remove the 4 screws from the back, you have 1 on the bottom of the PSP and 2 on the top. But the 2 on the top might be Phillips screws or Torx screws. I don't know, Sony was weird on adding random screw bits when everything else is Phillips. The top screws are the only screws that might be different for you, so just be aware of that. Once you've unscrewed all the screws, you can carefully take off the front plate of the PSP. Make sure you save the D-pad's contact pad, you're gonna need it for this new shell. And if you're gonna use the same buttons, please leave those aside. Now that the PSP is exposed, we're gonna use the pry tool or the tweezers to detach the control pad from the screen. Now that the control pad is detached, we can carefully remove the LCD screen from the board. Just be very gentle removing this, it can be very sticky because it's been there for such a long time. Once you've lifted the screen away from the motherboard, we need to detach the ribbons from the board. Warning, warning. Please be very cautious with detaching these ribbons from the connectors. The connector doors are very fragile and can break and ruin your PSP. Unless you know how to micro solder the new connectors onto the board, that's not an easy task, so be very cautious. After that, we can detach the control pad as well from the board. We can unscrew the L and R triggers from the board. Make sure you save those pieces as well, you might need them for the new shell. One thing I also recommend is you reuse all the screws because the third-party screws that come with the shells are super cheap and strip easy, so yeah. Save those screws, please. Let's detach the power switch board from the PSP and unscrew it. Sometimes these boards don't come with screws, so don't freak out if yours doesn't have a screw. Now the next thing is unscrewing the charging port from the shell, but I don't recommend you detaching the port from the board because it's a very fragile piece and I've bricked several PSPs because of this and has ruined the PSP. So keep the charging port attached to the PSP motherboard, please. Now we can remove the button flex cable from the PSP. Just be careful, this ribbon is attached to the shell with adhesive, so don't pull too hard. Once that's out, we can fling the speaker out of the shell and remove the Wi-Fi cable from the board. But we'll have to take out the actual Wi-Fi chip later. Now let's take out the D-pad flex cable from the motherboard. Sometimes the D-pad ribbon cable is attached with screws at the bottom, so you're gonna have to unscrew it. If you don't have a screw, do not worry. Next, we're going to remove the last ribbons from the board, which are connected to the UMD drive. After that, you can remove the PSP motherboard from the shell. Make sure you put that RF shield onto the new PSP shell, and now we can remove the thumbstick and the headphone jack. Let's remove this little metal springy thingy. I don't know what it is, but it's the thing that makes the UMD door pop open. We can remove the Wi-Fi chip now. Unfortunately, the chip is right behind the sticker where the battery was, and removing the sticker just leaves bad sticker residue. Next, let's remove the UMD door by taking out these little foam pieces on the side of the doors. After removing the foam pieces, you should remove the metal tray from the door. You're going to whip out that pry tool again, and you're going to jam that tool on the bottom right corner of the door and pull it out, and the door should be easily taken out. Now we can take out the UMD drive by unscrewing the 4 screws. Now that the UMD drive is out, we can finally transfer all the PSP pieces into the new shell. I'm not going to be really talking about how to put it back together because it's kind of just doing everything in reverse, so if you get stuck, just go back and rewind the video. Before fully screwing the PSP back together, make sure everything you installed is working. Trust me, you're going to want to do this part. Once everything is complete, you can put the PSP back together, and you have fully completed a shell swap on a PSP 2000. Give yourselves a round of applause. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope this helps. But remember, if you break anything in the process, that is on your own accord, and I had nothing to do with it. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and let me know what else should we shell swap next. It's kind of a tongue twister with that one. And consider subscribing for more content. It's free. Thank you guys so much for 1K subscribers. It's absolutely insane. I didn't think we'd hit 1K so soon. You guys are crazy, and I love it. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.